Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I think that's exactly what I needed to hear this morning to get my energy going. Good to see everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope that everyone had a great time this last week. My name's Alex Barney. I'm one of the members of the Board of Trustees here. Welcome to our service. Is that better? Unitarian Universalism encourages an open-ended search for meaning in life and a commitment to asking our values to shape our actions. We're a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We especially welcome those of you who may be worshiping with us for the first time. We invite you to join us after service downstairs for coffee and snacks so that we can get to know each other better. Guests are welcome to participate in any activities in our community. If you'd like more information about the congregation or if you have any questions, please ask me or any of the other board members. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Cathy Weideman. I'm a member of the Religious Services team, and I welcome you all here today. We're going to start with an announcement. Ann Harrington asked me to share that the roof task force meeting she originally scheduled for after the service today has been rescheduled to December 11th. So if you're on the roof team, don't show up for the meeting today, but come back next Sunday. I'd like to welcome Mike Lazio now to do our spotlight for today.
Good morning. Our spotlight is on the Endowment Committee. Most of you probably haven't heard too much about it. That's because of COVID. And I'm glad to announce that we've resurrected the committee. It was unfortunate that during the time of COVID, our chairperson, Linda Goff, moved, and our treasurer, Brian Sipthorpe, also moved. So we were kind of in a state of transition, obviously, and by default, Cathy Weideman and I pretty much chaired the committee and didn't have a lot of active attendance or lack of agenda. So we've also recruited some new members because one of our members, Damon Gray's term expired. So we were down to like 3 people. It was Kathy, Amber Siva, and I. And I'm glad to announce that Joyce Singh has joined us and Paul Lockhart. So we're back up to 5 members. And we have met and we have tried to just get current with policies and procedures and forms and finding out what's happened in that 2 to 3 year period of the COVID hiatus. So we have met. We're going to meet again tomorrow night. And if you have any concerns, please ask any one of us or ask Reverend Price to bring it to our attention. We're going to try to be more transparent in light of what was said last week at the meeting. And I hope to be able to post minutes on the Realm. I know everyone's not familiar with Realm and doesn't like Realm sometimes, but it's at least a place where we can document what's occurring. We'll post forms, and we'll also just be welcome and open to your agenda items or any points of interest that you might want to raise. So thank you very much.
Good morning, I'm Molly Teigland. The words for our chalice lighting this morning come from Albert Schweitzer. It's number 447 in the hymnal or on the screen. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
Several weeks ago, Trinity Episcopal Cathedral held a forum to discuss available resources in the Quad Cities to serve people who experience food insecurity. There were 3 panel members. Dan Huberman represented the Center Food Pantry, which provides food for families in need in a neighborhood near Trinity. Gloria Mansilla from the Hispanic Food Pantry, and Laura Evans-Mon from Nest Cafe in Rock Island also participated. The woman who surprised me most at this meeting was Ms. Mansilla, who told a personal story of entering a food bank, and upon asking if there was any food from her own culture available, was told the equivalent of eat what was available or go hungry. This led her to establish an Hispanic food bank at St. Anthony's Roman Cathedral Catholic Church, with financial assistance from local Hispanic restaurants. As each presenter spoke, it seemed as if for the first time I became aware of the impact serving people with dignity and respect who are in need of something as basic as food can be as profound for those who give as for those who receive. The speakers were not working from a duty or obligation, but from recognition that what they were doing more than just feeding people in need. They were approaching them as worthy and as deserving of access to good nutrition. It's estimated that in 2022, in the United States, 33 million people, including 5 million children, are food insecure. In 2022, about 15,000 people in Scott County were also considered insecure. Food insecurity is defined as the lack of access at times to enough food for an active, healthy lifestyle. These statistics are important, but they don't necessarily speak to the emotional and physical effects of hunger or the results of chronic malnutrition. During our service today, long-term member of our congregation, Molly Teigland, and Mindy Smith-Pace, a new member of our congregation, will be sharing their personal experiences providing access to nutrition for those who experience food insecurity and hunger, and how it has affected their lives. We will now do the words for all ages.
One of these days I'll get this mic thing down a little bit better. Hey, there's like nobody here, but that's okay because we're still going to have fun. I don't know. I really got nothing today. How's your Thanksgiving? Good. We talked last week downstairs if we could replace anything, if we could change a meal in Thanksgiving, what exactly it would do. And these kids came up with some really, really brilliant ideas. You were my scribe. You're the guy that recorded everything. Do you remember anything that came up? Ice cream. Yep. Turkey. I remember that because we replaced the turkey with pepperoni. Yeah. Yeah. Stella, do you remember that one? What was some of the other ones? We replaced some vegetables with some very, of course, healthy nutritional substitutes. Yeah. What did we replace mashed potatoes with? Applesauce. I like that. Did you guys get applesauce? What did we also had macaroni and tuna? Did you have it? I think it was one of you guys that suggested it. It does sound pretty good, doesn't it? It does sound really good, doesn't it? Well, we're supposed to talk about change. Again, still, I'm going to try to not hurt the very precious piano. And I found this nifty little thing about doors and change. So, we as a people, we sometimes like magical stuff, right? So there's an author who wrote a book about how this person was a special key. And if she went up to any door, she could make the door lead her to anywhere she wanted to go. And it was kind of cool. And then like in comics right now, the X-Men have this gate that they can walk through. And it's kind of planted as a flower and then it grows into a magical thing that they can walk through and go through different things. And there's a book called The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Anybody read that? Yeah. I figured there'd be some out here who have read it, and I was questioning up here. So in that book, there is a special wardrobe. Now that's a big fancy word for basically movable closet, right? So they're playing a game of hide and seek, and this girl named Lucy, she hides in the wardrobe. And all of a sudden, she realizes that she is being transported to someplace new, someplace different, right? And real quick, because I gotta ask, who wants to go someplace different? And where? Yes. You want to go to Africa and see all the animals. Where would you go? Hawaii. Yes, I knew that'd show up. Yes. Hawaii, too. We got a couple going to Hawaii. Awesome. New York. Okay. Yep. The Big Apple. Go ahead, Ruben. Hawaii. Man, we got a lot of people going to Hawaii. New York. Oh, my gosh. We're going coast to coast on this one. California. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anybody want to travel to a different planet? Yeah. You want to see the rover on Mars? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Well, it's really neat how they make these magical gates, and then you can go anywhere, and they will send you to these fanciful locations and stuff. And the whole concept is kind of through the doorway. Now we're going to bring it back to a little bit of basic stuff. So let's say, in a less magical way, you walk through the church or the congregation's doorway. What do you think you're going to be transported to? Say it again. The hall. Okay, yes. Okay, you structurally know your layout. But when you walk into the hallway of this religious area, do you feel any different? Do you think that you're going to talk about, do you normally talk about things in the outside world, or do you talk about like church things here? Outside world? Okay. Well, what would be some church things that you would talk about in here? Like, I'm sorry? Crafting? Yeah, we got to get away from that. It's all fun, but yeah, we do like crafting. So many of these thresholds, many of these doors are a little less magical, but they can still be just as transformative, right? So let's say you walk through the church's door and you show up and you want to learn more about church. You want to learn more about the principles. You want to learn more about what it is to be a Unitarian and how to live those principles. Let's say you walk through a doctor's office. What are some transformative things that might happen there? Surgery. That's very transformative, isn't it? Go ahead. Needles. Yep. What removal? You've got your toes removed? They're right there. Okay. All right. Some people. Okay. This is true. There are different. You go through the door at a doctor's office, and there could be some life transformation things happening there with surgeries or diagnosis or things like that. You go to a restaurant, these could be life-changing, right? Let's say you go to a restaurant with a possible date. Ooh, yeah. What kind of things could happen there? If it was a first date with me, it would have gone nowhere. But you go there with a prospective partner, and maybe you guys have a quiet evening together, and then you go about your business. Maybe sometimes you spend some more time with them, right? What if you go out to eat with your family? The food changes in your belly, and then it changes into something else, and then we're not going to talk about what threshold you got to go through afterwards to get rid of the food. So there's a lot of different thresholds in our lives, okay? And some of them are good, right? They could be meeting the love of your life or having to use the bathroom, depending on the health codes, or the doctor's office, right? You get different diagnosis. And every day we cross these thresholds. Every day that we walk in through a doorway that could make something different in our life. Go ahead, Deshaun. Or the vet. Yeah. I don't think a vet would change my life that much, but it could change other people's lives, right? Your dog. Yeah. Because your dog is a part of your life. And when you walk through that threshold, walk through that door, those things could change. Yeah, I'm not going to say any of that. So these doors, these thresholds, kind of like what we've been talking about downstairs in class. It's change. It happens. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's always going to happen. And sometimes the only thing that you can do is just walk through that door and see. Have you ever heard the old expression, when one door closes, another door opens? No? Well, I'm ending on the wrong stuff here. So, anyway, we're going to go downstairs, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some change and maybe talk more about Thanksgiving and stuff, okay?
If you're able, sorry about that. If you're able, would you please stand for the responsive reading? I want to be with people who submerge in the task. Go into the fields to harvest, work and roll,
And pass the bags along.
who stand in the line and haul in their places.
Who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm when the food must come in or the fire be put out.
The work of the world is common as mud, botched. It smears on our hands and crumbles to dust.
But the thing worth doing well has a shape that passes clean and heaven.
Greek amphoras for wine and oil, hape vases that held corn, are put in museums, but you know they are made to be used.
May they find sanctuary during their search in this community of faith.
The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
Remain standing for the opening hymn. The words are on the screen or in your hymnal, 209.
Okay, now if you want to take a few minutes while we stand. This is exercise today, too. We're eating and then we're exercising. So if you want to greet people who are around you and share happy Thanksgiving stories or say hi.
We could be greeting one another for the duration of the service. We'll do more downstairs.
Okay. Well, now the offertory and lighting of the candles. And you'll have to wait just a minute because I'm looking for it. Well, let's just light the candles. But if those of you who would like to, offertory. No, we can't skip the offertory. Okay, now I remember what I'm supposed to say. We need to feed the church like we need to feed each other. So get out your coins and your check and your cash and feed the congregation. If those of you who have something that you're sharing in your heart and would like to come and light a candle for someone who you're thinking of today, please come forward and light a candle while we do the offertory.
Good morning again. I'm Alex Barney. I'm no longer a member of the pastoral care team, but I'm here representing them today. The team assists the minister in extending care to any member of the congregation who is in special need. We do this by walking with you as you navigate life's challenges. As we gather today, we're aware of the hidden joys and sorrows in all of our hearts. In time of sharing, we take a moment to read from the book of Joys and Sorrows, those personal life events that you have chosen to share with us. Today we only have a couple of joys, and first one's a big one. Dee and Mike Lazio next weekend will be their 49th wedding anniversary. And we just have one nice one from our YouTube group, Tickled Pink Song Basket, whose name... Karen Fowler. Karen Fowler tells us, I am grateful for the smooth travels for my family's annual visit for Thanksgiving and pre-birthday celebration for our mother, who will be 92. So congrats to Karen's mom. Let us become aware of the energy that brings us together in beloved community as we share a time of silent meditation. May we open our minds and hearts to a place of quiet, to a silent prayer for the healing and pain and the balm of love. For what has been shared and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. We close today with a meditation called the Apache Blessing. May the sun bring you new energy by day. May the moon softly restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world and know its beauty all the days of your life.
Gotta make sure that, without pulling it out of the without pulling it out of its frame. Oh, it is on. Okay. Looks like somebody already got it. Yeah. Okay. If I could reach the stars, pull one down for you, shine it on my heart, so you could see the truth, that this love I have inside is everything it seems. But for now I find it's only in my dreams, and I can change the world. I will be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good. Oh, if I could change the world. If I could rule the world,
even for a day. I'd have you by my side, I'd have it no other way. And this love of ours would rule this paradise we've made. Till then I'll be a fool, wishing for that day when I can change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good. Oh, if I could change the world, if I could change the world. I could change the world. I would be the sunlight in your universe. You would think my love was really something good. Oh, if I could change. Oh, if I could change. Yeah, if I could change the world.
That was awesome. My name's Lori McCullum, and I'm here to read a poem to you called The Handful of Rice by Thomas Dooley. Hunger of the mind, hunger of the soul. A child's stomach empty as it sits in the cold. When will we learn there are things more valuable than gold? A handful of rice, sticky and warm, fills the belly and comforts the soul, a feeling some wish to know. Thankful for what is before you, some might not see it. A prayer of thanks is what you do. You see a feast of nourishing food. A handful of rice, sticky and warm, fills the belly and comforts the soul, a feeling many wish to know. Pressure and time hardens a diamond. Pressure and time softens the rice. We ignore the doctor's advice, think everything is all right. A handful of rice, sticky and warm, fill the belly and comforts the soul, a feeling I wish to know. Contentment with the simple joys of life, strength is facing the challenges of the night. The next day's pain are healed by the light. A handful of rice, sticky and warm, fills the belly and comforts the soul, a feeling everyone should know.
Hunger. When Cathy asked if I would be willing to share a reflection in today's service, I said yes, not knowing how hard it would be. Have I experienced hunger? No. Have I looked into the face of hunger? Yes. I've served at the community meals this congregation provides 6 times a year, but not in over 2 years since COVID restrictions changed things. I've bagged the meals in the kitchen downstairs. Sometimes I've delivered those bags to Zion Lutheran Church on Marquette Street in Davenport. Once or twice I've handed them out, but it's not the same as serving a hot meal to a line of hungry people in a church basement. I work in the Giving Garden in the summer, planting, watering, weeding, harvesting, and delivering the produce to Cafe on Vine. The Giving Garden was created about 10 years ago on the church grounds to help feed the hungry. Let's have a show of hands. Do you know where the Giving Garden is? Oh, that's heartening. Just checking. The Pollinator Garden, you pass on the way to the Giving Garden. Feed the bees and butterflies so they'll pollinate the plants and there'll be food for the people. Simple, eh? No. Gardens need to be tended. There's a whole group of people who participate. I'm just one of the crew. I want to be with people who submerge in the task. Many hands, more are always welcome. Cafe on Vine serves meals to people experiencing homelessness and hunger. On their website, alongside their mission statement, is a line from the Old Testament, Isaiah 58:7. Share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house. Good words to live by, if only we could. As I searched the internet for helpful words on hunger, I found a quote from Wendell Berry, American poet, essayist, cultural critic, and farmer. Hunger is a powerful persuader if it happens, and it's conceivable that it could happen. Country people have always known this. Lines from Joni Mitchell's 1972 song, Banquet, came to mind. In the cookie, I read, some get the gravy and some get the gristle. Some get the marrow bone and some get nothing, though there's plenty to spare. What more can I say? Live simply, be kind, take courage. You are not alone.
Hi, everyone. I'm new here. My name's Mindy. If I haven't met you, it's nice to meet you. I was kind of surprised that I was asked today to speak, but consider it a privilege to share some of my experiences. Recently, I read a quote from Buddhism that I think really applies to what we've all been speaking with today. And it says, in giving food, one gives 5 things to the recipients. One gives life, beauty, happiness, strength, and mental clarity. In giving these 5 things, one in turn partakes of that life, beauty, happiness, strength, mental clarity, whether in this world or in the next. When we moved to Bettendorf many years ago, about 13 years ago, I was in a time where I was in a new place, didn't know a lot of people, and felt kind of lost. My husband had a job, the kids had school, and I was just there. So I needed something to do, something to make me feel useful, somewhere I could use my talents. So I started looking within the community for opportunities. I stumbled across an opportunity where I was able to use some of my talents, and that's what I want to share with you today. I have a few talents that some people here may know about and some may not, but I've been blessed with the experience of being a social worker for many, many years and working in a lot of different nonprofits as a leader. I also have a skill of organizing the community and networking, which has been really helpful in my work as a social worker. While I quickly found a place to volunteer, I'm going to move this so I can actually see it. While I found a place to volunteer, I realized that there were some problems. I found a nonprofit that wanted to help the community, but the community didn't know about the nonprofit. I also had found that on Facebook, there were lots of places where there were people who understood that there was a need in the community for things, but they didn't know how to help other people get those things. For example, everyone doesn't know the struggles that people go through. And one of the things I've learned is that parents don't like to talk about when they can't provide for their children. With the new school year coming, some kids don't have new shoes, new clothes, and sometimes Snacks after school can be important because there's a big gap between the time that a child comes home from school and is eating dinner some nights when parents are working 1 or maybe 2 jobs just to make it. So there were a lot of needs, and there were people who wanted to help with those needs, but they weren't connecting. Those needs weren't getting met, and the people who wanted to help couldn't help. Being an organizer, I decided to get those people together. So I invited a bunch of people to talk at the nonprofit that I was volunteering with, and the people off of Facebook groups that I had met who wanted to help as well. And as a community, we sat there and talked about ways we could help. One of the things we found out was that the Greater Bettendorf Community Foundation had a space that it had just been using for storage for many years. And in that space, there was nothing, but it was a huge space. And one of the things that the community members who wanted to help struggled with is they were not connected to any organization, they didn't have space, and they didn't have the resources to access grant money to give people the things that they needed. So there was a willingness to help, but no way to do it. And the nonprofit had a way to do it, but didn't have the volunteers. So as an outsider coming in, I decided it was time to do what I do best and get everybody together and create something. We created what's called the Agape Center. When I named it the Agape Center, I was thinking about the love that's in all of us that we can share with other people. And we created a food and clothing bank in a park, in a public space where nobody knew it was, so that people could maintain that dignity they were talking about earlier and be able to get the things they needed and get the help they needed without feeling scared or embarrassed. And it worked really well. And to this day, we started out working to provide meals for what we thought would be a few people. Well, it soon turned into hundreds of people. And then recently I was just told by a volunteer, since I don't volunteer there anymore, that they have now served the 1 millionth person. To me, that's insane. I can't even imagine that something that just started on Facebook and just a few group of maybe 5, 6 volunteers turned into this huge production where every day people are getting their needs met, things with food and hunger, trying to slowly make those things disappear in our communities in a small park where nobody would have expected. And it just amazes me how something so small becomes so big. And I felt very privileged to be part of that. And that's the funny thing. The growth didn't stop with all the people that were getting their needs met and seeing that crowd grow and grow and serving all those people. The growth happened inside of me too. I was able to find that beauty we talked about earlier, the happiness, the strength, and the mental clarity in my own life. While I was helping others, I felt fed. In creating the food and clothing pantry, I learned more about myself, what I was capable of, what my talents were, and what my purpose was. I was able to go back to school and get a really good education, meet people, network, and learn so much more about myself and give me the opportunities I needed where I could serve other places. Currently, I do a lot of volunteer work helping provide the needs of veterans and their caregivers. And it amazes me how there are so many needs that we can help if we all pitch in. And that's what I wanted to share with you today, was that as I got fed spiritually, I felt that I could serve in so many different ways. And they were small things. They weren't necessarily huge things. I used a talent I had from my business experience, which was just networking, which you wouldn't think is a way to give back, but it can be. Connecting each other to the things that people need most. People may have used clothing and they just think, I'm just going to throw it away. And they don't understand the impact of donating that clothing to other people who can use it to go to work for the first time and feed their families. And there's just so much out there that we all can do, and we don't think about. Just small, simple things make big, huge impact on so many lives. Got carried away there, sorry. But I don't tell you this to brag about my commitment to helping other people, to get awards, or even to impress you now that I'm part of this congregation, this community, to gain your trust or your friendship. What I'm telling you is that When you help others, you feel it inside yourself. You get fed too. And I think that that's something we all forget about, that in order to grow ourselves, we have to help others grow. And we have to feed others in order to feed ourselves, not just physically, but spiritually. And I encourage you all to just take part in anything. It can be so small, and who knows what you might find and what impact you might make. And you might find that peace, that wisdom in life like I did. So the message is really simple, and I really believe this truly in my life. Feed others in any way you can, whether it be physically, emotionally, spiritually, and you'll be feeding yourself. Thanks for letting me share my story.
Please rise in body and our spirit for our closing hymn, number 407. We're going to sit at the welcome table.
It's time to extinguish the chalice. The words are in your order of service or on the screen. We extinguish the flame of our shared time together. May each of us carry a light within, guiding us to our best selves. Imagine my surprise when I saw closing words, Molly Teigland. Where did that come from? I have no closing words, but Cathy Weideman does.
So I do. It was a surprise to Molly, and we're going to change this at the last minute because I do have some closing words. And my first part of the closing words is thank you all for being here today. It's Thanksgiving weekend. We are very thankful for everything that the congregation does and for being here and for your families. I know many of us got together with families over the weekend. And I'd like to thank my co-conspirators in this wonderful chance to do a service. Mindy, I don't know why I chose you. I walked down that and I said, I know she has some connection with my service this coming Sunday. And so thank you very much for being the new person and for stepping up. And it's wonderful that you have so much experience. And Molly, thank you for being the flip side, the person who's been here in the congregation for a very, very long time and has done wonderful work in our own pollinator garden and the Giving Garden. So with that, my closing words are, again, thank you for being here. I think we're lucky. We do change people's lives daily by not only nourishing them with food, but as Molly said, every time we connect, we are sharing and nourishing people. So those are the closing words, Molly. And thank you for coming.
lighting and